So Dane, you want to do a demo tonight, and this is a kind of an expansion on a piece you showed us a couple of weeks ago, is it not?
Correct. Yeah, so a couple weeks ago I showed, probably about 4 weeks ago I showed a little miniature version. And so it started off as a little crotch piece, a little bit smaller than the piece it's mounted. So we're going to attempt to make something similar to this tonight, and we'll see how things go.
Okay. How old is the wood?
The wood is apple, and I took it down a couple years ago. So in prepping for for a piece like this, what I typically do is go ahead and apply my super glue to the bark to try to save this. So it came down in late winter, early spring for us, so the bark should stick on, but went ahead and gave it a layer of CA all the way around the center to prevent any bark from coming off. Thought about sanding this off, making it pretty looking, but thought I'd leave it on there for a little bit of character. The other two ends are nice and clean. How does the light look on here? Is that too bright?
No, it looked good right now.
Okay. So I did put parchment paper on this light and my overhead LED. So hopefully it's a little bit softer. I know there was a little bit of concern about that the last time I did a demo. So,
hey Dane,
but yeah, other than that, I found my approximate centers. I'm going to turn it between centers. I got a stub center on the headstock side. I'll flatten a little bit on this side. I'll flip it around, and I'll work this side, and I'll flip back and forth in the process of, changing it, depending upon how the grain looks, trying to get it as flat as possible. And we'll go from there. Any questions?
Yeah, do you trim up the ends at all to try and get it a little more even for the lathe? I mean, like I put mine on the bandsaw sometimes and trim it up so it's a little, I got fewer, sharper edges to whack me.
For this type of piece, no. Okay. This is just a cut off from a larger limb that I'd been working on. So this is what was left over, and one of those pieces, you just stack on the side to use for another purpose.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those.
Yeah, right. So, and then to preface this will be my second piece doing like this. The other one was my first. So, all right. So without further ado, was there a question?
No,
I didn't hear one.
Okay. And so I'm about 600 RPM. I'm going to start with a 3/4 inch bowl gouge. Stop to see where we're cutting. The main end, the one end, nothing on the little end yet. Always check to make sure you're nice and tight. And so when you're turning pieces like this, you're watching on the horizon where your cuts are going through, and you're watching the ghost shadow that's coming around, and you're not watching or looking at your point where it's going in. You're literally looking at the view on the horizon, or at least that's what I do. I'm going to move the tool rest in. Check for tightness. Can y'all see all right?
Oh, looking good. Looking good. We all noticed that no man's land is the other side of that tool rest.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I got a personal message that said, what grind is that on your gouge?
55-degree grind.
Okay. You done it with a elliptical gauge tool?
Yeah, done with the one-way Wolverine.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. This side's flat pretty much. I'm going to flip it around.
I like the idea of the one weathered end. That really looks good.
Yeah, I've never done a particular like this style, so I figured why not? Nature's own ebonizing.
Want it on your wood, folks? Put it in a mulch pile. The mulch pile in your garden's got so much great bacteria in it.
Right?
For those that didn't understand the ghost, you're now seeing the ghost.
You'll notice, especially when turning anything, but especially something like this, never turn in the line of fire. Never want to be in front of it. You always want to be off to the side of your turning. If you're back on this side of your tool rest, if it's going to pop off and go anywhere, it's going to fly that way or it's going to fly that way.
While Dane's doing his demonstration here, folks, and he's spinning a crotch, a merging crotch bowl for us. Remind you again that we are developing a contact list of the members who wish to be on it. We do not have a membership list. It's a list of members who wish to be on our contact list that'll be available by password on our website. And if you want to have your information there, put your information on our chat. It will not be used, this chat will not show the information when it's published, but we'll use it to develop that contact sheet. You know, I just heard from Scott Hampton. He's going to be doing that demo and sharpening for us in a couple of weeks. That'll be nice. Dan, is that going to be a working tenon you're putting on there right now?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll take it down considerably more flatter here so I can decide how it's gonna, what the bowl is gonna look like before I make the tenon to hold it.
What kind of information do you have to be put on the list?
What you want to put on there, name, if you wish, it could be name, address, phone number, email, website. Any of that. If you want all of it, put it all in there. If you want just one or two things, put them in there. It's wide open.
Will do.
Scott just posted a thing that he was going to do a demo on the sharpening, and that's going to be November 17th is that demo on sharpening. Filling up that demo list, folks. I love it. If you members have been to us for a little while, you understand what Doug World was doing a little while ago, turning a pumpkin for Halloween. I see Doug has moved his camera into his kitchen. That might not be a good sign. Cade Bolger will be with us next week, turning a, what do you call it? Bird mouth hollow form.
Flip it around.
What's the bottom and what's the top right now? Do we know?
I think this next set of cuts will determine which is going to be which. I think this is going to be the top.
All that you're doing right now is just trying to flatten the two sides.
Correct.
Okay.
Dane, why are you saying that you think that's going to be the top?
Because of the grain collar. I'm not getting ready to make the top, but I think this is going to be the side that's going to be the top.
That's going to show more grain than the other side?
Yeah, I believe so. Here on the sides, I like the way the sides look. You guys really can't see that well.
That's a little better. For the grain. The cutting the other view was really good to explain the ghost. But now we got a better idea what you're speaking about grain. Members, if you're joining us a little tardy, it's fine. Earlier this evening, we spoke about the new contact list being on our website. In a little while, David, our webmaster, will be back with us, and he'll explain to you how you get access to it. It's relatively simple, and we've got some securities on it to help keep it from being a bot, or being attacked by a bot, pardon me. Someone asked if that's dangerous when it stops. That's what the stop center is for, folks. The stop center gives up a little bit when you bog it down like that. You just put a twist on the tailstock to bring it up a little bit tighter because of the slipping.
Yeah,
If you notice,
the stub center is really eating out the other side.
the Turner's warning what the secret is on this. Watch his stepping. He is stepping in. He's not trying to take a half-inch cut at one time. He's going in and taking light cuts down to a point.
Dane, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah,
Is there a reason, or maybe just your choice or whatever, maybe I'm just being stupid, but is there a reason that you're cutting from the outside in instead of inside to the outside?
say it again.
Is there a certain reason that you're cutting from the outside towards the center?
Doesn't
Or,
want to lose the bark.
Right,
There's a pull cutter to knock the bark off.
part of it.
okay,
Also, you don't want to, you want to turn the edge thin and then work your way inside so you don't come back out to the outer edge because you'll break it. Because it gets thin, it'll get unstable.
okay.
And you can ride a bevel on a push cut much better than you can on a pull cut.
Now that one makes sense to my head.
If you go in there with the
with your sharpening, Dane, so they can see what you're doing.
Yep, and if you go in there the wild blade, you're gonna end up with a wild cut.
What was the question about shortening?
I don't have any questions.
I just said to move it in so they could see what you were doing, because you were at the
Oh.
edge. Right.
Yeah, so it's 400 CBN, so 400 diamond card. These ends really dull up your tool.
Brenda, by going from outside in, he's also cutting with the grain instead of against it.
Less
Right,
tear,
so-
more
so
slicing.
typically- So with this being a crotch piece, you got twisted grain going different directions. So whether it's side grain, end grain, it kind of throws it out the door. But doing your push cut going against your bark, it prevents the bark from being pulled off, as opposed to doing a pull cut. You're coming back, the bark will catch and it'll flip it right off. So you get a better shearing cut when you're riding your bevel going across. So this is going to be the top. I think I'm going to leave this little piece of bark here. There's a little character spot for it. I'm going to clean up the outside wall here, and then we'll flip it around and start making the bottom.
Now, if you can't get a beautiful piece of wood like Trace, like Dane is turning tonight, you can turn with us if you want to turn a 2x4, because our 2x4 challenge is back. It's really never left. We want to see what you can build, what you can turn out of building materials. Christmas time, make some ornaments, little Christmas trees, wands, all those little things that all made out of 2x4.
My step center is just not holding at all.
I need to clean out the teeth on it.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to check.
I just know if mine slips, I end up having to clean out the teeth because then it won't get grip again.
Although they're totally clean.
Your center between your point and your blades on your stem center are touching the bottom, so the stem can't go any deeper.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Let me knock it off with the chisel here.
Step centers are handy, folks, but don't get locked in on one size. There's several sizes of them. And from doing anything from ornaments to bowls, you can find a step center to work for it.
Yeah, they're handy.
Be aware of going for cheap.
Yep.
We got Joe asking, worrying about balance shaking the lathe. It'll shake to some degree. I don't think he's got it bolted to the floor.
No.
No, that is a mistake. That'll cost you your bearings and a heartbeat.
Hey, you just follow it around the shop. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, a friend of mine had a name on his. He said, I'm gonna go dancing with, Mary Jane in his shop, his lathe walking across the shop floor.
Well, that's the easiest way to move it. Turn
And
it up.
Ronnie spent all that money on those casters.
Right?
Hey,
Just
Ronnie,
turn it
all
up.
you had to do is get something out of round.
Yeah. Now it only vibrates when you got your out of balance going.
He's turning on a Powermatic, and it's not known as a lightweight tool to start with. It's got enough beef to hold back a lot of those problems.
Ah, much better. Spoke too soon.
As a note, in an earlier meeting, a previous meeting, we talk about lathe maintenance, and one of our members brought forward that Robust lathe. Brent at Robust has got a great manual on maintenance for your lathe. We have received permission from Robust to place that book on our website. So the world's greatest website for wood turners is getting better every day.
Does it have pumpkin cleaner on it?
Yeah. Contact Frigidaire for a stove. It's real quiet in Doug's shop. I'm looking in there right now. Doug heard us talking about him. Boy, Sue saw that can of worms on the chat and just opened it wide up. Sue said, how big a lamp should you get when you're looking at LED lamps? Come on, Sue, that's like asking what's my favorite finish.
Well, I've got a little teeny one and I need a bigger one. So that's why I was asking.
I found one at IKEA that works really good for me, but it's too large for bowl turning. Yeah, it's a swivel or articulating arm.
Okay, well, the one I got now is like a little magnetic thing that hangs on.
Yeah, a while back, Sue, I did a shop tour and showed some of the articulated arms I built. Some for cameras, but also I built some for lighting. And I just used a standard light socket and a standard, a high lumen LED bulb, and I can use that articulated arm to point that sucker wherever I want it to.
Okay, that sounds good.
Dane, the mark was where you're setting up for your tenon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so a quick 2-inch guide. Just take your pencil, lay it on top of your live center, and that'll make a perfect tenon for your 2-inch jaws.
Oh, that's cute.
It's almost retired, this. Don't even need it anymore. I need to pull the magnet out of it.
Y'all keep sharing these tips and tricks, and we'll be the best in the world.
Got a crack in here, and one little piece here is flexing.
Time for super glue.
That's hopefully it'll turn out. That's why you always check before you turn it on.
Matt Harbor, one day we'd like you to show us those articulating arms you made for your cameras and your lights and stuff in your shop.
Okay, Eddie, there's the link to the video we did last December that shows the articulated arm.
It's on our chat, folks.
I can hear that loose piece of tin.
Yeah, speed is your friend when you're turning these.
So I'm doing my final cut here on the bottom part of the plate or the bowl. And so I'm bringing it in a little at a time. And then I won't go back and touch it. If that makes sense.
He's leaving some meat out there to support it.
Correct.
If it gets it too thin, it'll flutter. This is going so good. I just need you to pop into Doug Rose house. That's what our current turning project looks like at Doug's place.
That's funny, Eddie.
I'd like to remind our members to invite a friend. Bring a friend to the meeting next week. Every Wednesday night, you can tell sometimes we have a lot of fun. We're learning something about wood turning we want you to share.
All right, so we're gonna put it on the chuck.
Oh, Doug Rose said he just posted the pumpkin on a Worldwide Woodturners Facebook page. But don't open it if your computer's not waterproof.
Waterproof.
Pumpkin proof, whatever.
I did include colored pencils. So while Dane's getting ready, I'll tell you guys what happened. When I turned the base of it, it was too thin and the pumpkin wouldn't support itself. So I had to make some legs out of colored pencils.
Well, yeah, that's what the dollar store is for, right, Doug?
You betcha.
Doug, I learned something from you on your new shop placement.
What's that?
I'm locating my equipment in a new studio, and somebody asked me how close to the wall do I want my lathe. And I said, Doug Rowe taught me not to put it too close or won't get the knockout bar in
it. True story.
Yeah, not without making an addition to the wall, putting in a fake window.
I really thought we'd see that, like an access panel or something, yeah.
A knockout window.
There you go, knockout window, okay. You're referencing your jaws?
Yes, sir. Jaw number 1.
So when he unchucks it and chucks it back, he can reference that mark and he won't get a wobble, hopefully won't get a wobble from the placement of the chuck. It's like a little harmonics built up there.
You getting flex in that piece?
What was the question again, please?
Is he getting flex in that wood?
I see that move. I wonder if it's when he put it in the chuck, it's got some wobble to it.
Yeah, it's right in here in the crotch end of it.
Its centerpiece is not part of the design. That's the stabilizers until he takes the rough cuts out. Then he'll remove that, finish out the bowl.
Can you see the grain?
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome looking.
So it's amazing the amount of silica in Apple to where it dulls your tools.
That thing is shining already. Center,
Yeah, you get some pretty Chatoyan still.
already getting the shine.
Right? So a little bit of a design change. So there's a crack that's running through on the inside here, and I don't want to take it any thinner because otherwise it's going to come apart. So we're just going to continue on our way of making the bowl part of the vessel now. Woo. Finally, some speed.
1632.
No, not yet. 950. I may have to go hit the grinder.
When Dane wraps this up, we'll go back to gallery. We have the electronic gallery or the video gallery up and running. Found out where that glitch was. We had to dump the video and go to something else. Remind you, if you want to be in our contact sheet, this is how you will reach another member. We don't do a membership list. You want to be on our contact sheet, you put your information in our chat. And one question was, what do I put? Put what you want us to know and share with other turners. Some very often just your name and your email or your name and your phone number. We're not qualifying you for a car loan or anything, just so you can talk to other wood turners.
Hey, Eddie, I was just going through the chat and I saw somebody, Casey, had posted a question. Is it bad when it stops like that? I don't know if they're talking about my demo or Dane's demo. Dane's got the step center going on, so he can explain that. On mine, when you saw the pumpkin stall, the lathe was still spinning at full speed. It's just the pumpkin was too soft, and basically the lathe wasn't holding it tight anymore. It was just creating a hole on either side of the pumpkin. If you're using a solid piece of wood and you're stalling your lathe, yes, that can be very bad. So the bearings, the belt.
Well, that's what the stop
Well,
center is made for, to
that's what the
eliminate
step-
catches.
Right, that's what the stub center is for. So there's two things going on. When you're turning a piece that's got uneven surfaces, sometimes your entry will go in quicker or at a more sudden rate than on the regular side. And so the stub center, rather than allowing you to get a catch or a violent catch, it'll allow the piece to slip. So it's got nothing to do with the pulleys or the bearings per se on what I'm doing tonight. So there's a combination of not enough speed, turning air, and I've got a heavy hand to begin with. So that's the reason why.
Well, you and Doug had the same problem. It's just his was pumpkin related.
Right.
But for somebody who's not using a step center, that's what I was getting at, where you could cause damage to your lathe if you started getting too much stalls like that and you're not getting your chisel back out of there in time.
Remember, if you jam it tight,
That's the beauty of the stub center.
yeah,
It's far safer than your 4-prong or 2-prong.
I have a comment to make about that also. I don't turn big things, it's mostly ornaments that I make, and I haven't used a stub center or any drive center for years. I use a dead center. And I found that off from Bonnie Klein many years ago when I took classes at Aramont School of Arts and Crafts. That's how she taught children, was with a dead center. Just, you know what, it's one that goes in the drive center, but you just put it in your
no revolving about it. It burns a cup in the end of the piece and holds it.
Yes, that's what it is. Yep.
If you learned how to turn wood in high school, that's what you had for a tail center.
We put a drop of oil on it.
Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah, you used that in high school. You didn't have revolving centers then.
They didn't have bowl gouges either back then.
We had bowl gouges, but they weren't what today's wood turner calls a bowl gouge.
Exactly.
Always make sure you take your live center off.
Your elbow will let you know that if you don't.
That's right. I could feel my elbow getting close to it.
There was a pretty good record power demonstration last night. It's like a no-cost IRD. Record Power does them about once a week, maybe every other week. Really informative. They're timed out to be in all the continents. And Record Power will give you the times and for each continent. I often wish we could develop a list or a list of all the IRDs that are available for cost or not for cost. So if you're interested in killing time at work one day, you can look it up and go there and enjoy an IRD.
Pat Carroll has some good ones on there too. How you get on his website, Meet the Wood Turner.
That's why we would like to, if we could develop that information, our master webmaster can put it on our website for us. So right now, if a member has got a YouTube channel that they post their videos on, you can give that to us right now, not in the contact information. It'll be on our website. We've had that on for a while. Oh, yes, I just saw this on the chat. Pat Garrell's guest Sunday will be Kelly Dunn. Oh, he does some, oh, he's out of Hawaii. He does some really cool looking work. And yes, they have turning wood on Hawaii. If someone has a contact for Pat Carroll's program, will they put it in the chat, please? Getting a few private messages asking me how they can go there. You keep in mind of how thick that bottom is, because funnels don't win any awards here.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
My big thing is the crack in here. That's what you keep hearing cracking or catching in here.
Martin?
Don't worry about it. It was something filtering in from somebody's open mic.
Almost done.
Dane, are you already below the level of your wings? Are you just on top of them or below them already, or?
I'm about 1/4 of an inch from the tenon.
Okay. That's getting tight.
At least right now, he thinks it's 1/4 inch away. We'll know in a minute.
All right. I'm not going to push the luck on it.
That is awesome.
That is
Very
beautiful.
nice. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Enjoy that.
So I'll
That's
just
beautiful,
rechuck
man.
and clean up the clean the tenon off later, and or I can show you how to do that tonight for those that are
Yeah.
interested.
Please
Yeah,
do
go
that.
ahead.
Yeah.
Heck, not.
You ever seen the tennis ball trick done?
Once.
My dog chases one every day.
No, I've never seen that done before.
I see
I
it
bet
that
you
much.
haven't, Matt. I haven't done it in a long time, so why not?
There you
Think it'll
go.
fit? Let's
Be
see.
safe, Dane.
I will. So you can use a tennis ball on small stuff as a jam chuck. And so all you got to do is take your tennis ball and put it inside the jaws of your chuck. Bring up your tailstock. Make sure you got a live center in it though first.
What's with the hole in the tennis ball for?
It's a multi-purpose.
He put it there just to mess with you, really.
Okay.
He got you though, huh?
No, you can put it on the tailstock too.
They weren't great on tailstocks like that for doing goblets.
Okay.
Yeah.
To stabilize a goblet once you have the cup turned.
Yep.
Yep, in place of a
The
jam
hole
chuck
in the
or a
tennis
road.
ball will make the tennis ball bend and form better to the bowl than if it wasn't.
Say that one more time, Trey.
If you don't have the hole in the tennis ball, the air in the tennis ball is going to keep it round. The hole in the tennis ball allows the rubber in the tennis ball to flex and grab the ball better.
Boy, here you go. We're doing sports on what worldwide wood turning.
That makes sense. Thank you.
It does. Okay, you heard what Matt said. Be careful. Do you see the wobble he can get from on that piece?
Yep, watch your hands, watch the tool rest, rotate everything by hand before you turn it on. These things
Look at
avoid you
that
if you're
crane
not
on the
careful.
left side.
All of the above.
Then warn the neighbors.
Right?
Right.
Dane, I don't know what it was, but you dropped something on the other side of your lathe there.
No, it's a pencil.
Okay.
It's on the floor right next to yours, Doug.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach right over there and grab that. Give me just a second.
Cool. Good.
Now, he's busy, but I'm going to tell you, this is where the slice comes in. You don't hog this off. With a little bit lighter weapon to make this cut.
Is this where the funnel comes into play?
Exactly.
Don't
This is when we
say
find out
that.
if his quarter-inch measurement was right.
As long as you don't see tennis ball fellas, everything's good.
For those looking for that contact on Pat Carroll. It's in our text right now.
Dane, what size is that tool?
Huh?
What size is that tool?
3/8. More room. See if I can't take it all the way off, Matt.
Don't
I
blow
think
it up.
Matt lost his internet connection. He dropped off right after he was talking to you.
Ah.
Gotta catch it.
Matt left so you can get out the way.
Yeah, man. Pushing that wood a little too much.
That's good enough. Bench chisel will knock that off. And so that's how you clean up the bottom without a vacuum chuck.
That was awesome.
Nice trick. Really nice.
Man, that looks beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Well done, Dane.
That's your
Great
average.
demo, Dane.
Very nice, Dane.
Any questions?
Incredible, Dane.
How thick is the bottom?
Huh?
How thick is the bottom? I think everybody wants to know that.
It is.
It sounded thin.
It's
Sounded funnel type.
it's 3/16 of an inch.
How thick are those wings?
Only about a half.
Half inch.
That's-
7/16.
Nice demo and a beautiful piece of
It's
work. A lot of good tips and
5/16.
technique in there tonight.
Great
Oh,
job, Dane.
thank you.
It looks
Save
Very
the
good.
others.
Good job, Dane.
Very
Save the
nice.
others.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Still
That's
got all my fingers.
no Band-Aids. No Band-Aids tonight.
All
Okay.
right, thanks, guys.
How
Dane's
tall
gonna,
is the bowl from the wing?
Do what?
How tall is the bowl sticking up above the wing?
5/8. 3/4.
3/4. That's it.
Now, how do you go about sanding it now? Or do you?
It's just a demo piece, so there's not that much sanding required. So I'll probably on this piece here, I'll probably char it and then rough it up with wire brush and then put poly or tung oil on it.
Okay, okay.
But, you know, kind of keep the rustic appearance going, you know, with the natural blackened piece has been in the earth for however, you know, the last 1.5, 2 years with the clean ends from where it was, limbs were cut off of it priorly. So, but
it's
yeah,
a beautiful piece.
yeah, it turned out all right.
All right.
The grain was a little bit more gnarly in multiple spots than I was expecting, but yeah.
Hey,
Never know what you're gonna get with a crotch piece, so.
Never know what you're getting, any piece of wood. So thank you, Dan.
Yeah, true,
And I
right?
admit it,